most important thing is to think slowly, is to have what you want to do in mind, or maybe on a white paper or on a whiteboard, and then translate it to code. So coding actually is the easy part. The hard part is knowing what to do. Okay, that's the hard thing. So in terms of likes and dislikes, reaction controller. Okay, so we say this here. So here I don't want to create likes all the time. I want to handle different cases. So if the person is doing the same person is doing the same, or doing a different reaction on the same watch list. Okay, so same person, same watch list. Here I don't want to add right away. Okay, I want to handle the cases like, is this person changing his opinion, or is this person just removing his previous reaction? Okay, so here when I bring the reaction, okay, when someone is posting a reaction, okay, I need first check for previous reaction from same user on same list or watch list. Okay, so I want to see if there's, it doesn't matter if it's like or dislike the previous one. What matters for me is that there is something already from same user on same watch list. Okay, so how do I do that? Okay, so var result. So if everything is fine, there always should be one reaction from the first, from the same user on same watch list. There shouldn't be a list, but let's see anyways. Okay, so equals db dot reactions dot where. So where we return a list. Let's say that I want to have single or default, and then we will talk about what is the benefits of using single here. Okay, so db.reactions.single or default, the reaction r dot, so same user, and r dot movie id, sorry, watch list id, not movie id. Watch list id equals reaction dot watch list id. Okay, so who can remind me of what was the job of single and single or default? Yeah, but what about single itself? Forget the default. Single itself. What's the difference between single and first?
We check is there any after any except the first one.
Except one.
Yeah.
Okay. So as Mili said, and I think Yushin was saying the same thing. First, we return the first one. Like maybe you have 10, 12, whatever. First, we return the first one. Okay. Now, single will make sure that you only have one in this filter. Okay, if you have more, it will throw an exception. So here I do want an exception. I do want this problem to go reported. Hey, like this user has more than one reaction on the same watch list. So someone needs to go and fix the database or clean it, or do something. Okay, because you shouldn't have more than one. So choosing like using first is fine, but maybe this user has more. So you can use single to raise an issue, to raise an exception, okay, to the caller if you have more than one, or you can use first. Okay, like imagine by some mistake this user has like more than one reaction on the same list for some reason. like someone messed up with the database, and you don't want to cause exceptions and trouble. You want to let it go. Okay. So first or default will return the first reaction for this user on this list. So it really depends on what you want to do. Now, as engineers, we know that first we'll do this job, single will do this job. Then we will decide, okay, what do you prefer in this situation? It really depends on what is the actual customers, or what are the people you are making the website for they want. Okay, do they want to let it go? Okay, just choose the first one. Or do they want this to be fixed, and maybe you need to email like administrator to tell them that, hey, there's something unexpected here, something that shouldn't be here. Okay, so but we know what is the job for each one. Okay, so db.reactions.first or default. Okay, it will bring the first one. Okay, now what is the job of default? Default works with no values. Okay, so if you don't have anyone, then you won't have an exception. You will have the result as what? Null.
Null.
No.
Null. Okay, so first or default, single or default, the default is the same job here. It will always make null, okay, instead of what? Instead of an exception. Okay, if you used first alone without the or default, then it will bring the first one if it found it. If it didn't find any result, it will throw an exception. So first or default, and here, of course, we don't want to throw an exception if there are no results. That means this is a totally new reaction that there was no reaction before. So for sure, we don't want an exception in case there are no reaction. Okay, so here's the previous supposed reaction. Now, if result, oh, what I'm doing here. Sorry. Now, if result, okay, is not null, what does that mean? There is a previous reaction. Here I have two cases. Like, is the user making the same previous reaction? Okay. If yes, then remove that previous reaction. Okay. It's like when you on YouTube, you click the like once, then you click the same like again, it will remove it, right? That's what happens on YouTube. So if yes, so okay, so if result dot type, we called it yesterday, reaction type, equals to the one you are doing now, okay, then what should you do? db dot reactions dot remove reaction. Okay, else, sorry, no, we need else inside. So else, otherwise, change the reaction type. So it was like, now you wanted dislike. Okay, so what should you do? You don't need to create a new reaction. You already have reaction, but change it from like to dislike. Okay, so here, else, what should you do? db dot reactions, or sorry, reaction, this reaction dot type, okay, it will be the opposite one. So how do you make it the opposite? Okay, it will be not the one that is already there. Okay, just not will convert it. Okay, so like my type is like, what is the not of my type? Dislike. Okay, so it's not what you have. Okay, this is a common way to do it. Okay, so here I'm just writing those. This is what we thought before writing the code. Okay, if there is no previous, but if there's no previous reaction from this user on this watch list, then add a new one. Okay, just because this is the create. Okay, adding a new one is those guys. Actually, we should have moved, like we need this actually for everything. Okay, if model set is valid, we will talk about that later, but sometimes it's not valid for some reasons. Okay, but for now, we don't want to go there. So if model state dot is valid, do this. Okay, check. Now else, okay, okay, what do I have? Like if result equals null, that means there's a previous reaction. The else of it, what does that mean? That means there's no previous reaction. So if there's a previous reaction, you either remove it or change it. Otherwise, what should you do? Add it. And then I will save the changes regardless of what I did. So all of those are stuff that you like, one of them will happen, either this one or this one or this one. And eventually I will call db.save changes or whatever I did above. And I will go to index. Okay. Why do I have so
Thank
many
you.
errors? Yeah, you're welcome. But why do I have so many issues here? Oh, I just kicked all of those. So swear. Can you check if those three lines are, yeah, those three lines are inside model state dot is valid? The create you have. Yeah, let me check another one. No, they are outside. Okay, so this should be correct now. Okay, so that's what we wanted to do, and all what it matters, like we know if we know how to filter. Okay, like as you can see, there's no strange code at all here. We didn't use anything special. All what it matters is thinking logically, thinking step by step, and just whatever you have in mind, translate it to code. Okay, it's just that easy. That's why that was our very first course. Okay.
Thank you. I feel like that was really helpful watching your thought process.
Okay. Yep. Now it will be totally more helpful. Uh, like it feels very good because you thought about it first, you tried to do it, and now it makes sense. If that's what we tried from them or what we did right away, it wouldn't look as much beneficial as it's now. Okay, but getting all the time you need to do something, and honestly, I like to keep stuff unsolved because you really need to get used to that. Tomorrow, few months at work, when you can't do something, there won't be anyone who comes and do it for you. You need to find a solution. You need to make it work. Day two, three. For example, like now, you always have good students, less good students. So if you are not used to do that, a single task may take a week from you. a single task that needs a day, because like you are used to, okay, I will try, didn't work, okay, let's wait for the next day, someone will solve it. Okay, so it's really like it really shows during internships. Like some companies, they will say, wow, this person, guy or girl, they will say it's fantastic. Like he can adapt very quickly, learn new things, solve issues. Okay. And you have the opposite thing that, hey, I gave him a task or I gave her a task a week ago and it's still unsolved. Yeah. So, and they both know the same thing. They both know if and fors and whiles, but one is used to solve problems, one isn't. Okay.
Mohammed,
It's web. It's called web.config.
do we
Uh,
have an exam this week?
no. So for this course, we don't have an exam. We only have a project.
Oh,
We we will take a look at the project on Friday.
okay.
Yeah, if you have a password and user, they should be here, but we don't. So you need to go to something called connection string. So connection strings, okay? This is our connection string to the database. So for example, the database we are connecting is called IMDb. The server we are connecting to called SQL Express. So if you have username and password, they will be here. Okay. So you can store the connection to the database in the database. Okay. It's like storing the key of your house inside your house. Okay. Like how are you able to? So the credentials of a database, okay, how you connect, where is this, username and password, they are in a file called config file. Okay. At the end, we will work with connection strings when we talk about code first, but for now, it's being written for us. Okay. And of course, there are so many different types of connection strings. We have a lot, like each engine, database engine, they have different ones. There's a website called Connection Strings that will show you all the possible connection strings in the world, depending on the database you are using. Okay. So in the previous group, at this time, actually, we were explaining how Zoom works and that we need to move to uh, online teaching. Those were the days when we started moving. It was in March, I guess. Okay. It feels like 10 years ago. Yeah, so it feels like. So we have an extra half an hour now. Let me just see from the next class.
Mohammed, do you think we'll go back to school in September?
I really don't know. I hope so, but I like we really follow the regular schools here. Not sure what they call them, but Winnipeg schools.
Okay.
Web service. Well, we have a course on web services, and we will work with a program called Postman to make web services. We will have that, so it's not like half an hour will be enough, but it's coming. So Willie is always on a hurry for everything. Should he just want maybe finish the program and travel back home? I'm not sure what he's planning to. Yeah, how like microservices isn't like part of the course. I hope I will introduces this time, but we are also thinking about introducing AWS. So AWS is the Amazon Web Services. Hopefully we can make a course. It really depends on, we are trying to contact AWS for that. because like it's always something it's good to have in any job posting. So when you see job postings, they always at the end they tell you like it's great to have, or it's a plus to have something like cloud programming like AWS or Windows Azure. So if you really want to um, get some kind of certificate that's very good for you to find jobs, then working with AWS stuff is like one of the hottest things now. Everyone is moving to the cloud and people are working there. For returning, I don't know. They may start with few courses or few programs. You know, the programs that are hard to teach remotely. And we will see if they are still alive. Maybe you can join. Otherwise, I don't know. But you know, maybe they start with the culinary and hairstyling. They will see if we reach the news. Okay, like a break in MITT, and people are like 2,000 students are infected or whatever. So hopefully we can have a good start so we can join. But for now, they are telling us we are most likely to come back. So let's see how it goes.
Okay.
So do you want, or do you not?
I want to be safe, so I'd love to see how everyone else does.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, like I want to be safe equals I don't want to come back, but it's not that you chose like a nice term for that. Well, virtual methods, we didn't talk about virtual methods yet. Virtual methods are part of inheritors part two. So when we talk there on advanced topics in C Sharp, we will talk about virtual, we will talk about some advanced things in inheritance. So this will be part of it, overriding and virtual things. But mainly virtual function is a function that you can override. Okay, so you have a class. Okay, if a function is defined as virtual, then there's a function that you can override yourself. In Java, I guess all functions are virtual by default. That's why you can, Java, not JavaScript. That's why you can override everything by default. Otherwise, in C Sharp, you can't write the word override if you don't have the word virtual. Um, who remembers where we talked about virtual and overriding? We had a very quick.
The accessibility or something like that.
Well, yeah, it was
Beginning?
around that time. Yeah, but what is the class that we had? What is the function that we did override for it? Do you remember the class called object?
Yeah.
So in class object, you have a function called toString. So if you don't like the toString that the object is providing for you, then you can override it, okay, to make it more meaningful, to have extra things. Yeah, yeah, in the OOB course. So we were able to override the toString in object class because it's virtual. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do so. This we will study again when we talk about inheritance part two. Okay, let's see what do we have for tomorrow, and maybe we can. Okay, so since we have the likes and dislikes now, let's work with this one. Can you install React? Well, yeah, why not? You mean in the front end here? Well, technically you can, but I don't know React, unfortunately. So I won't be able to help. Yeah, of course you can, like you can use any front end stuff with conjunction of MVC, okay, like libraries, things. But for React, I really don't know. Like React is a language by itself, as far as I know, and I unfortunately I never worked with it. Okay, but I'm pretty sure I saw courses about React with MVC. I saw them on Udemy, I guess, and I saw some students React integration with. So here, yeah. So it definitely can be used with C Sharp and SPMVC. I saw courses about that. And here in the reactjs.net is the official site. They are also telling you how to use it. Okay. But you can use it, you can do it for sure. Okay. If you want to do it with projects, but I I'll try to help, but I can't guarantee that I will know what I'm doing. So we can connect our movie project with this database. What database? Like our movie project is already connected with the database. Oh, you made a movie React project? Yeah, you can try. I really don't know what is that project that you had in front end and back end. Like we know what are the topics, but like what is the actual contents? We are not very aware of the actual things. Like each one is specialized, so you can try to do it. Okay, but I'm not really sure about classes, about things. How much can you integrate? Yeah, well, if it's very similar, you can try. Okay. Yeah. That well, we will do that for sure in the last two projects. So the last two projects we will use front end and back end together. But if you want to start now, that would be great actually. If you want to create the actual one, and Zach can help. So Zach knows both, so he can help grading the React things and probably fixing issues if there's any. Okay. Okay. So um, for your portfolio, um, like the current projects, you can write, you can add most of the current projects now to your portfolio, but usually the last two or the last three are the biggest top three projects we have. Okay, those are the ones students usually add to their portfolio. So one will be website like Stack Overflow, so QA website. One will be a bug tracker. Okay, so those are bigger than the ones we are having now. Those you can add to your portfolio and you can upload them to GitHub. Many students did, and some employers went and they saw the code. Some of them were really impressed with the quality of code they have. They accepted those students because they saw the quality of their code. But the ones that we are having now are a bit simple. Okay. Tomorrow, when we will reach the group projects, like a project of 3, 4 students, that will be a bigger one. And that, in my opinion, is worth mentioning in the portfolio because people will go and see a project, maybe just few lines of code. So you really want to only put the top ones in your portfolio. You don't want to put every single line of code you wrote there. So you need really to choose the best ones. So in case they chose to go there and see, they won't end up seeing, like our previous project, which is just few stuff, and they will think that this is all what you know. Okay. So let's leave the portfolio until we go to that group project. Okay, so now we want to find the top 3 watch lists. Okay. A good watch list is based on the top number of likes. So now I don't care how many dislikes a watch list have. I don't want to calculate the difference. I just care about the likes. So the 3 watch lists with the total number of likes. Now notice that we are not storing the total numbers of likes anywhere. Okay, we are just saying saying, okay, this is like, this is dislike, but we don't have the total yet. So you may think about, okay, creating the total, or maybe you want to calculate the total, you don't want to store it. Eventually, all what we need is to know what are the top 3 watch lists depending on the number of likes. Okay, so let's start thinking about that. If you can do it without an extra field, that's nice. If you think you need an extra field for it, but you need to fill that extra field to keep it up to date all the time. Okay, any results?
I've done something. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. So good example.
Okay, let's see. Why are you pretty sure it's wrong?
I have these feelings when I'm perfectly sure and when I'm not. This one's the last.
Okay, let's take a look. Top three watch lists. Okay. So you are ordering by uh, mm,
I wanted to add a count here somewhere, but it says error, so I erased it, and I still don't know how to count it.
yeah, so
Hmm? Here?
inside.
Here? Here? Like that?
No, outside it. After the parentheses, yeah, here. Here should you have
Uh, can you replace where to count?
Oh.
Can we
Oh.
can we replace where to count? No, just the
okay,
count.
you don't need the where. You can just use count
Really?
right away.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Thanks.
Because is where you want to filter and take the result. Count will just count for you.
Mm. I thought
Is
count is just. Oh, okay, okay.
okay. So what you did is you are ordering by. Okay, we need to order here.
Mm.
So what is the thing we are ordering? Is the count of the is liked, but yeah. So is like it should be true. Okay, yeah. So that's fine. So you don't need to write equals true.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you need to make you need to be careful that
Yeah,
is
if it's
like
a false or not. Mhm.
yeah could be false or true. But if you didn't write anything, is like should be true by default. Okay, so order by for each watch list I'm counting. Okay, let's see what is the type of result. Why are you using list? Like you can use var. So it's better to use
Oh
var.
yeah.
Just
I
to
just wanted to know like what type it is that I'm returning because I
yeah.
always get
You can use var and just like
not to list.
just stop your
Yeah.
mouse here and it will tell you. So
Cool.
if you stopped your mouse at the end of the word result, just put your mouse pointer on the word result. Okay. So here is I queryable. Okay, it's I queryable because you are making a query with order by, so you can convert it to list.
Mm.
Yeah, so you can say return view result dot to list. Okay, inside there is return just result
Here.
dot
So
to list.
result.
Yeah, unless you want I queryable, which I queryable don't have the actual values. When you have to list, the actual query will be executed.
Mm.
Okay, so this looks fine. Okay, so you were almost like 90% correct. Okay, anyone try to do?
Thank you for being generous. I think it's 50%.
No, like you were there. You only needed the count. Okay, anyone tried a different way? Okay, so everyone went with this way. Okay, so as you can see, we can always count how many likes. We don't need to um, store the number of likes and dislikes all the time. We can always count it. Okay, now it depends on, for example, imagine that you always need to see the total. You always need to count. Then it could be a good idea to store the count. This way, you are just wasting a very small space for this new variable, which is called total likes, total dislike. But you are not wasting computation time. Like imagine YouTube video. Imagine everyone opens the YouTube video, you need to go and count how many likes and dislikes are there every time. So this will take a lot of counting power, and every time like you have maybe millions and sometimes tens of millions of likes and dislikes on each video. So imagine you are doing this over and over. Having this field stored is much more faster. Okay. And eventually you are not wasting a lot of space. It's just like two numbers, but they are always here. That's why sometimes when you like or you refresh your page on YouTube, you won't be seeing the real time value. Like it may take few seconds to refresh, and sometimes someone liked in maybe another country, you won't see this like right away going up or down. Okay, it's not a real time thing because it's not necessary to be real time. Okay, so always think about storage power or computation power and see which one is the one that you need to sacrifice. Okay, imagine, for example, calculations about the average rating. Okay, imagine that you every time someone wants to see the rating of a video, you will recalculate the average rating over and over, like thousands of times a day. Storing the average rating would be somehow way faster. Okay, you only need to update it when you have new ratings, not only when people want to see the the current rate. Okay, so that was it for today. Tomorrow we will talk about post functions. We will try